Good evening, everybody. It is Monday night. Welcome to Sketchy Live, the broadcast. I am heading up our evening tonight. I have a special guest in the studio with me, and we're going to do a little bit of interview. So I'm super excited. Hang in. We'll be right back with our special guest on Sketchy Live. Hi, guys. Welcome back. This is me, ityB. I'm in the studio tonight. Um, if you would, let me know if you can hear if you can hear me, because I'm getting a notification that one can hear me. Let me know if you can hear. We've got a special guest in the studio tonight that I'm going to be interviewing. First time interviewing on the podcast, so I'm really excited. Um, I would like to welcome. Oh, they can hear. Great. I would like to welcome to the studio for an exclusive interview, Mr. Johnny Jalopy, you
You're
guys.
so Oh man, what a letdown. Hey, thanks for having me on.
As much as you've talked about what you're doing art-wise
Yeah.
and with the business and all of it, I've never really interviewed you. I mean,
Oh,
we've had a few pop-up questions from people,
not,
and
not
you've
even
been
when
able to answer
we
those.
started dating or anything like that. You didn't interview
There might have
me.
been a little bit of an interview, but
Well,
what
thanks for having me on. I really appreciate being a guest.
a guest on your own podcast.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting.
It is pretty
I've been on
exciting.
some pretty major podcasts, but I have not been on
By far,
this one. Is the top tier of podcasts to be on. So I thank you for having
You're
me on.
welcome. Thank you for
Are you gonna
joining
hog
us.
this screen all by yourself too, or
No. No. All right. So
oh hey, how's everybody doing?
what I really wanted to talk to you about tonight.
Totally jumping right in, no small
I
talk.
am.
Itty no nonsense on her
No,
podcast.
because we want some questions too. We want some outside questions, but I have a list of questions here to ask you. Everyone knows, and if you don't know, Johnny is now a full-time artist. No longer has a day
Yeah,
job. We don't. His day job is the art business now. So really excited about this opportunity and finishing out the rest of 2025 building Johnny Jalopy Art.
yeah.
So there have been some ebbs and flows since you've been doing this.
Some ebbs and flows.
It's been about a month.
Let me turn more towards you, so this
Okay.
feels like really like an interview. Don't forget you have also you have your regular job.
I will.
Too.
I will.
Okay, just making sure.
It's been about a month now that you've been.
Has it really been a Jesus?
Yeah, just a few days over a month. So, tell us a little bit about how it's going. What have you been up to for the last month that you've been doing this?
Well, we've been doing. We started off both of the months. Well, our first month we started off with the May special,
right.
which was basically more than half off normally what I would charge someone to do a rendering of their vehicle custom. You know.
Yes.
Where are you putting this?
I'm putting you back.
Jesus.
Sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay, it's all right. This is your. So we've been doing that for a little while, for a month now, and it's been great. Response of folks who've gotten their artwork has been awesome. One job's turned into two jobs, multiple jobs per family because they're really happy with the work I did for them on their car. So it's led into other jobs, which has been great. And then as we rolled into June, we had a June special, which is still currently going on, which is I would draw like a 2D, side view type thing of your vehicle on paper, hand drawn on Tantone paper, and the response to that's been really, really good too. So, we're already halfway through the month, and I've done a few of them, and still have a list of probably 2, 3, 4, about, it seems like about 9 different ones and still
It's
need to
exciting.
complete by the end of the month, or at least, I just today wrapped up my last of the May specials. So it does take a little bit more time, as you're signing up for the month. It doesn't mean I'll necessarily have you done in that month, but you're just getting that special deal.
The
And again,
sooner you sign up,
$100 for an original hand-drawn cartoon of your car is a really good deal.
it really is.
So it's been good though. It's been fun. It's been challenging to try to stay organized, and sometimes getting information from some of the clients and stuff like that's been a little challenging. Um, some of them just understanding, maybe weren't. Maybe one customer where it wasn't the greatest of clarity, I guess. Expected what they wanted and what I gave them.
But
Still very happy with the artwork that I did. But, I've learned to ask a few.
You're no stranger to this though,
No,
because doing custom work for anybody,
Yeah.
you've had to deal with challenges as far as expectation and
Sure.
what you do and stuff like that. Let's see who's on the broadcast joining us
do the
tonight.
normal
Now that
thing.
we have some viewers on, we've got Sam Metro joining us. Good evening, you too. Glad to see you are back safely. Yes, we
Had a great time.
were gone
in New
last week,
Jersey.
and actually the week prior to that, we had Sam
Hey, you went to New
on the
Jersey?
broadcast.
I went to
Yes,
New Jersey.
we went together
Oh,
for Father's Day.
Father's
Day. We've got Cameron McNulty on the broadcast.
Hey, my daughter.
And me daughter.
Hello, me daughter.
I would say my daughter-in-law. She'll laugh because it's an inside joke between us, but she's
Oh,
not
is
my
it?
daughter.
Oh, right.
She stepped up.
Hearing it.
You got Blue Dove, BW
What's up, Blue
Adventures.
Dove? There's a really great podcast and
Yes.
YouTube channel
And World Travelers.
and Instagram. Check them out on social media as a Brew Job. Lots of cool interviews on over, tons of interviews going on. Great channel to follow. So head on over there and check that out.
Sure. We've got Dennis Goff joining us tonight.
Dennis?
Welcome. We have Rob Earl. Hey there, ityB and Johnny, tuning in from a very warm and stormy winter's day here in the Hunter Valley. Hope you're all well.
Keep the cool side cool, man. Glad you're on.
We've got Micah Doodles joining us. Welcome, sir.
What's
hey
up,
guys,
Micah
nice
Doodles?
to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Michael. Hey neighbors. Hope you're doing well. Glad you are back safely.
I had a great time. Good to see you.
They did say the mic is breaking up a bit.
Oh, no. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Hey guys, Kinnery's here. Your sound is breaking up on our end, going in and out.
Great.
Dang it.
Okay, we're gonna have to just go to basic mode
Basic mode.
and just the regular one camera and
All right,
call it
that's
good.
what we're doing. We're going to cut out the
So,
other
Hold
cameras.
on, folks, real quick.
Bear with us a moment.
I'm going to shut the camera down.
And we've got Tom Estrada joining us. Welcome, sir. Tom Estrada was
I'm not going to.
you have to
Oh.
in order for the audio to be on there.
I wasn't going to have a camera on.
Well, then we can do this.
Perfect.
Okay. What about now, guys? Can you hear us
Anyone?
now?
Check.
You're back. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Hopefully that stays.
So stupid.
Every time there's something.
we
so
go up
frustrating.
and we get multiple things working correctly, and then something goes wrong and nothing works. So now we're going basic setup. It's
just basic.
It's the only shot you're gonna get. We're
This
not
is
gonna be able to move from one thing to another, make it interesting. And then some. Dennis is saying, people are saying sounds great. Okay.
Yep, we're good.
All right, keep going. So
Okay, so
hey, so hi everybody. We're glad you're here. Thank you so much for
hanging in there with us.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. So, couple questions. Some people have posed these questions. Some were brought about by somebody else that thought these might be good questions to ask you.
Oh, these weren't your own
now that
personal
you're full
questions?
time. Oh, some of these would be my questions as well.
Okay.
So you're doing two different styles. Your June special was a digital art piece.
Yep.
And your July special is an original art piece. Explain to people what the difference between the two of those are and the similarities.
Gosh. Okay. So one is done in the Sketchable app that you see me do when we draw on Sketchy Live. That's the app I use to draw. Was the May special.
Okay.
Which was just you send me a picture of your car, I do a quick cartoon. I don't go into super mega detail, even though I ended up doing a lot of detail on everybody's stuff that I did. But that was more of my choice than anything. So, and then the June special is where I'm actually drawing on paper. And then, so May special, you would get the file sent to you in your email.
Like
so
a
you
JPEG?
a JPEG file of the artwork that's completed.
Okay.
And then you also get a hard copied print of it, basically, which it's a one of one. It's not like I'm using it for other stuff. It's yours. It's the only one that's there. So it's printed. It's yours. And so then the June special is on smaller, on 9x12 Tantone paper, a 2D side view, with colored pencils and markers, and it's just a real kind of a basic cartoon drawing.
So if
you're getting in the assigned original,
right. So if you watch Sketchy Live and you watch Johnny Draw, you understand that it's not being drawn digitally, if I could say that. You're basically treating the pad that you're writing in, or the digital pad that you're using, as a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And it's being drawn with a pen, just, a digital pen. It's not like you're making circles by using the program. You're not making straight lines by using the program.
I'm not making ellipses or utilizing any other tools to make.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. But this program doesn't have those tools, which is what I liked about it, because it was just sketching.
Right.
So it's very limited in what it can do. In fact, even adjustments, like if I want to, like it has a like in Photoshop, like I could easily be doing these in Photoshop or Illustrator, and probably be saving myself a ton of time because I could utilize a ton of different tools.
Right.
But what I like about the Sketchable Plus app is it's limited in some of the things you can do. So you still have to use your drawing skills to utilize the program. And it's limited on the functionality of things it can do.
So what do you feel the difference is between doing a digital piece and doing an original piece? Because your process is similar.
The biggest piece for me is my own errors, being able to fix those errors to where they're not going to show up on a piece of paper
on the final thing.
Which that's sometimes, and I see other guys when they're doing renderings of vehicles, they'll do a light sketch, another sketch, another sketch, another sketch, and they're getting it tight every single time. So they're like copying their copy, then copying their copy, then copying their copy, and making adjustments to where the final thing that they lay down is all the adjustments that they're going to do. So then it's just a matter of, if they don't mess up drawing that last tracing, tracing basically of their last adjustments, then they won't see any errors on the paper that you would get sent to you.
Okay.
The advantage to the digital side of it is when I erase something or go back and change something,
it's gone.
You're not seeing those things. But I also, in the way I work with the digital stuff, kind of leave some of the flaws, and like you've seen it a couple times where you're like, hey, there's a little black dot right there. I'm like, yeah, it's part of the drawing. I mean, I forgot to erase that little, but it would be if I had the same thing if I was doing it on paper, I wouldn't have that advantage to erase that thing, or there might be some pencil showing through. So the biggest thing is for collectors of art, they don't like the digital side of it because they can't say they own the original one of one piece. So a couple of my clients have asked me, can you sign it, the print, and put one of one? And I'm like, yeah, I could do that, because their purpose of having me do the artwork is they wanted a piece of Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art. in their collection.
Right.
And, unfortunately doing that, I do a lot of digital art. It makes it a little more difficult and I'm sure that's that's why probably Keith Wiesner's stuff is more expensive, and not because he's 1,000 times a better artist too. That's the reason why
he is good.
But there's an original, and it's the thing that he made. Now he does sell glycine or whatever prints of his different stuff that are high quality print type thing. But Johnny Jalopy Art has always been about affordability.
Well, and the fact that you're sending the file with the digital, I think gives people an advantage in case they wanted to use that for something else.
Sure.
Some people want to go make stickers,
and
I've also
been theoretically shooting myself in the foot by doing that.
Absolutely.
Because I could easily be charging more money and get them to pay me to use it as a sticker. But I've basically come to this realization is that they're going to do it either way.
Yeah.
So the more I can kind of be user friendly, and maybe they'll be less likely to remove my name from it, and they'll keep who did it, and they'll share that I did it, word of mouth that way. So yeah, that's the biggest advantage of the biggest differences in the two for the customer is if they're a collector, is that
they usually want
the value part is maybe less because it's a print,
right?
But for instance, like that would be the biggest difference in the two.
And do you find from a time perspective to finish a piece start to finish, which way is easier, the digital or the original? And we talked about you being able to change some of the digital stuff.
I think they take about the same amount of time.
Really? Okay.
Sometimes like for instance, what I'm doing, the digital stuff I'm doing is more of a three-quarter view than when I'm doing on the paper is just a 2-dimensional. So those can be a little faster because it's more just wheel placement and then draw the car. And then, add color and stuff like that. But sometimes the coloring, like I had one car just recently, it was
that bug.
The Model A. No.
Oh.
The Model A guy, and the color was like a champagne color.
Oh.
And the unfortunate thing is, trying to find, in my limited palette of pencils,
markers,
colors, and markers and things I had that would represent what would look like champagne, in real life versus what. And that's the challenge of the non-digital side is on digital, I can actually bring their car in, right? The actual picture of their vehicle and take a droplet and pick the color from their car.
Wow.
And then utilize that as like a base tone and then start trying to manipulate it to look like, because there's going to be variations in color. Like today I drew the last one I did, it's a very dark gray HHR truck, but when you actually do the little eyedropper to pick the color, it's more of a blue purple tone. And I knew the customer was going to go, my car's not purple, but that's what the computer saw was a purpley, the tones.
Sometimes it works to
the
a disadvantage.
Yeah, so then it's okay, how do I manipulate to get it to appear gray, even though there are tones of purples and stuff in it in reality when you're looking at it. So that's the hard part is trying to, of the digital part is where a little easier for me to manipulate the color palette than trying to find a color pencil.
I would imagine if you're laying down color and then you're like, that's not the color, let me add this, and you're laying down that color. Eventually, it's just going to be like brown or black.
Well, that's you
got to start all over.
In the case of that champagne car, I had laid down, because it was Pantone paper, I laid down some shadow tones first, which is what I usually do, and then I laid down what looked like on a different piece of Pantone that I forgot to do the under part, so it looked very champagne. And then I hit it on top of that shadow color, and it was not champagne.
Oh.
So then it was like, okay, I have to find another color on top of that. Now it's wet, and I'm laying color on. So I had to wait for it to dry. And then I laid another color. And then sometimes the problem with using mixed media, I'd colored pencil and marker, and some of them don't play well together.
No.
So it can be challenging. For me, that's the most challenging part, is to try to get color representation. Like I did this Nomad where it was a faded red paint job.
Oh, I remember that one.
And in the pictures that were sent to me and what it looked like on computer and everything, it almost looked pink. But I know the customer wouldn't want me to do pink. So it was trying to get as close to a red tone that was faded-ish pink. So I'm sweating all these details in all the stuff that I'm doing. And maybe somebody else would just go, well, it looks red. It used to be red. I'm doing it red.
Right.
And they'll just have to deal with red. And I'm trying really hard to capture what a photograph shows in my lame little drawing. So,
well, what about that blue bug you were doing the other day? The crazy paint job. Was it a paint job or a patina? I don't even know.
Well, it was purposely done as a patina.
Oh my gosh, this thing was pretty insane.
It had probably, I felt like about 15 different shades of blue, from very dark navy blue all the way down to a pale baby blue.
But that was digital, so you were able to play with that a bit.
So yeah, and that was a lot of manipulating color. And then there was rust spots and places where there was supposedly that you could see through into some of the stuff to fill dents and that kind of stuff. Bondo, you could see Bondo through some spots.
How proud are you that I knew that?
Yes, nice job. And then there was another part where it was down to steel that was rusted, and trying to recreate that all digitally, through color and different stuff like that. So it was that working on that car's paint job alone was like all day.
Yeah.
Like 10 hours of probably work.
Well, you didn't make your money on that one.
No, well, I did because I'm going based on how in a day, that kind of thing. And I'd worked on some other stuff too during that day too, so we did okay.
And so
you win some, you lose some. But I was hoping that guy will be so happy that then he'll talk about it and send somebody else.
Bring in some other jobs. So texture wise as well, what do you think's easier, digital or
texture wise?
Yeah, if you have to do like
recreating,
like the patina, it's not always just color, but maybe dimension.
I can still do that with the color pencils and markers and stuff like that. It's just more challenging to do it. And again, the advantage is if I pick a tone trying to create like rust or something, and I don't get the tone right, in digital I can just go back and try again. In a original paper type thing, now I got to scramble because I've now layered multiple colors, and I got to figure out, okay, hopefully I didn't go too hard with a colored pencil because it's oily and it's almost like crayon. It's basically, it is crayon, and other things don't want to play well with it. Right. So
can't really lay stuff on top.
No. So it's either it can be a little more brain consuming because you're trying so hard to get it right. And then, then there's just the other side of it, which is you want to make sure the customer is really happy with what they see, and they go, "Oh, that's my car."
And so far, there's been a great response.
so far, yeah.
We're thankful. We've got Joe Rogowski joining us. Hello from Buffalo, New York.
Hey,
welcome.
Joe. Welcome.
Rob Earl said, I have my original Johnny Jalopy artwork and love it. We appreciate
awesome. Thank you.
We've got Lizzie Daughtry joining us. Hello, Elizabeth. Johnny and ityB.
What's going on?
Sorry, guys, if I can't stay the night. I'm underneath the weather, so please say a prayer for me if you guys can. Absolutely.
Will do.
Prayers for your healing and for us as well. I have a little bit of a throat thing going on. Johnny's got a nasal thing. So
a back issue.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
Frank Pupello's joining us. He says, great show.
Oh,
welcome, Frank.
Welcome.
Sam said, Elizabeth, Godspeed to your healing. So we've got some extra prayers for you over there, Lizzie. Howard Pierpont joining us, 83 degrees.
What up, Howard Pierpont?
Partly cloudy.
Where in the heck
dusk.
is Howard Pierpont?
We miss our buddy Howard. He hasn't been on in a while. I haven't seen him. So good to hear from you. Thomas Strada said, great info.
Thanks.
Well,
man.
We've got some more to come
you're a master
here.
Artist, I know you know.
I'm going to dig back. Well, everybody's got their own style, so it may be interesting to hear how other people are doing it.
Well, again, that's that. Well, you asked the challenges between the two things, and those are, I mean, they're not so much challenges. It's just what makes them different. And again, why specifically the style in which I try to do stuff is detail without details. I've tried really hard to learn how to, create things and do things that kind of fool the eye a little bit sometimes. And, with patina and rust and different things on different cars, and again, the whole idea of when somebody's coming in to have something done, my specialty is not realistic. it's a
little more
little
cartoony.
skewed and definitely cartoony.
You've done realistic though, and it does look good.
Yeah. I don't think it's a matter of I couldn't do it if I concentrated on doing it, but I have more fun with the manipulating of the the lines and skewing things, and it's more fun.
Somebody wanted to know when you do these pieces, and I know when you originally started, so maybe we can talk about how you got your start, but you used to draw out your line design. Now, this was before Sketchable, before you were using Sketchable.
Yeah.
You would scan it into the computer, bring it into Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever it was that you were using, and then you would trace over what you had sketched on paper.
Yeah.
You're now tracing over digitally. So what is the process now? Because Sketchable has really opened up a door for you to be able to just do start to finish pieces.
I still that's the yeah, depending upon the specific style in which I'm trying to recreate. If I'm doing a very monstery Ed Rothy type design, I'll usually do a quick thumbnail design on paper just to get the funky, just because that's just I'm loose and I'm on paper and it's just right here real quick. And I don't have to pick a specific type of tool. I can use an ink pen, whatever's around me.
Right.
And then sometimes I'll like the way it is and I'll scan it in. And then sometimes I can. There's been times where I brought it into Photoshop and looked at it and gone, wow, the way I have that front wheel angled is all screwed up. So then I can take Photoshop, cut that piece out, angle it the right way to where I can then manipulate things the way I really want them to be, and then bring it in and then start basically doing the same thing that guys are doing with originals, which is over tracing their piece. And then once they've got that over tracing done to where they like it, where they want it, then they go right into inking it and then into color.
So you're still using Photoshop. You're still using Illustrator?
I don't use Illustrator
as much.
More, I use Illustrator more for when I'm taking things from ink and digital drawings, and then trying to create like our t-shirt stuff. There's where I use Illustrator the most, is for then vectorizing products into being able to be silk screened
and that's how you're doing logo work and things for people,
right?
That way,
right?
So then your digital art that you've been doing, like for the special, we did the special in May with the digital. Are you using strictly Sketchable to do all that majority of the time?
Sometimes. Other times I'll take the customer's car, I'll bring it into Photoshop and then start manipulating maybe the photo itself, just to kind of start trying to get things the way I want them. Like, I'm like, I want the top to look a little more chopped, right? And so I'll just Photoshop chop it and bring it in and lower that down. And then I go, okay, I want this to be, I can manipulate the photograph itself to kind of get a visual, like I would have done drawing it, just to get the visual of the photograph. And then I can set that up and then start trying to draw off that photograph.
And you would use Photoshop if you were, say you had like a beach background, a photo, and then you were putting that person's car, and you'd be able to.
Yeah, I can do. I've been able to, like today with that the one that you saw, the HHR. I brought in a background that I'd found, an old stock photo from LA, and it was a really cool photograph, kind of an old worn up bridge. And so I can bring that in as a background and then mute it down, blur it, and create a cool background that way too.
And you did used to do a lot of that stuff. I remember in the beginning.
Yeah. And then I started actually going out and trying to make sure, because I wanted to make sure it was also something I had made.
Right.
So I would go out and photograph just empty parking lots and empty buildings, and just to get my own backgrounds to do that. So that's been kind of fun. Of this May special was just trying a few different things I hadn't tried in a while, or done in a while, and then also going back and looking at some of the old stuff that I had and going, oh yeah, I forgot how cool this background looks, and I hadn't used it for a long time, so let me use it on this one and see what they think. So
nice.
It's always about trying to keep it cool looking, so I want them to be happy.
Thomas Estrada said different tools. Absolutely. Howard Pierpont says today, Mineola, Texas, bake from Mena, Arkansas, headed to Materi, LA, Louisiana.
Probably Louisiana.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Be safe. Gordon LaFave, good explanation on digital and original art.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
glad we covered that because I think for some people, it's a little different. The digital art is still original art.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not,
especially the way you're doing it.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about this particular app. And I know there's some other, like Micah Doodles, for instance, uses he's an Apple guy, and I've been thinking about jumping on board with that.
Yep, totally considering
and because Procreate is something that so many digital artists use because the tool is just really, really that good. But it still takes a talented artist to
even
utilize those tools. But and again, I think the thing that the digital art gets a bad rap is that the computer is doing all the work. And for instance, like I can tell you in the Sketchable app for sure, there's no auto corrections. Like if I draw a shitty circle, the circle's shitty. You know what I mean? Or if I try to draw a straight line and it's not straight, it's not straight. So there's times where I'm, as I'm drawing, say, a side view like that HHR, there's a body line that runs from the back of the tail light up to almost towards the front grill, and I'm trying to pull that straight line with my digital pencil across the screen. And sometimes if the angle of where I've got things turned on the screen isn't correct, the computer will shoot it off into a different direction. So a lot of times you're fighting against the actual program itself, and you've got to figure out, okay, I have to angle it this way, and I got to pull my arm this way in order to get a straight line. So it can be challenging too but you have to learn how to utilize the tool itself. But by no means is my computer doing any of the work for me, because holy cow, it'd be so much easier. But what I love about it is it's inexpensive. I can keep the cost down of what I'm charging a customer, because again, they're not getting an original piece on a thing. So, but they are getting my time and my talent. So that's really what when I'm charging for it, is the most you're paying for is that part. I'm not charging you because I'm looking at the outcome specifically that you'll be able to go, oh, hey, I'm doing it because, I've spent the time honing my skills.
And I will say that what you're offering right now is heavily, heavily discounted.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
like doing it for free.
Yeah. But Johnny wanted to stay busy. He wanted to make this available. This is a kickoff to him being the full-time artist. We are going to be running a July special.
Haven't figured out what we're doing for
We haven't figured it out yet, but stay tuned. We will be probably dropping that maybe next Monday night on Sketchy Live. We'll probably drop that special. But we've got the Evans, Dan Evans. Hi guys, Evans are in the house. Welcome.
Dan and Mary.
We've got David Iyer. Hello from the high desert of SoCal. Great to see you.
I missed that place.
James Olchin.
Cool.
Hello, Queen ityB and Johnny Jalopy from Lincoln, Nebraska. Welcome,
What's up,
sir.
Lincoln, Nebraska? Good.
I wanted to pause for a moment and share with people what we have.
Have you ever learned to segue?
We're segueing.
That's not a segue.
We're segueing. So we had talked about a couple weeks ago when we were with you guys last that we had put in our hat order for a new Johnny Jalopy hat that we have available. New color scheme.
So excited about this. This has been something that I've had wanted to do for a while, which is a different colorway for the Johnny Jalopy hat. And I love the OG black and white, and so many different places do a black and white hat. And I was like, I always wanted to do something that will stand out a little bit more. And it's not that nobody does this colorway, because there's tons of people and tons of places that do this colorway, but it's a new colorway for us. And I'm very excited to show you. It's the new Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod art colorway. It's the red, white, and blue Johnny Jalopy.
Yay!
Let's go to the other camera.
Exciting!
Yeah, you can get a good shot of it.
Oh my gosh, the colors pop, you guys.
we made sure
so nice.
We wanted the dark for the logo, red bill, and then of course the white background. 4th of July is coming up. I don't know if we'll be able to get them out to people by 4th of July, but definitely this is a very patriotic month. And with everything going on as well, nothing like representing your colors. This is again the reason why I did it is I'm a military brat. My father was in the military. I'm very proud of his service. And my wife's dad was in the service. We're very
And my
proud.
son.
Yep, very proud. And our son was in the military. So very proud Americans. And so that's another reason why I wanted to do a red, white, and blue colorway, is to show our patriotism to our nation. So yeah, these are available only right now. We're making them available. Excuse me, $25.
Yep. Normal price for hats, by the way.
I'm not charging any more, any less. But we're making it exclusively available for this week only,
And
to you that are listening right now.
Only giving it to you guys because we only have a small supply. Of this color.
Yep. So as soon as I think we have 13 are gone, they're gone. So first come, first serve. But if you want to get your Johnny Jalopy red, white, and blue colorway hat, I'll sign it if you request it to be signed in your email. Just email us at johnnyjalopyllc@gmail.com, or go to the website johnnyjalopy.com, and it'll give you a link to
click on the email and it'll bring you right to.
That's the easiest way to do it.
And we'll invoice you overseas shipping, Rob Earl.
Yeah, there'll be overseas shipping for sure.
Yeah, we do charge a flat fee for overseas shipping, but everything US.
But we're making it exclusive. We're not putting it on the website yet. We're making it exclusively for you folks out there that watch Sketchy Live. Sorry, watch Sketchy Live to be the first ones available to have access to the new colorway of
limited supply.
The Johnny Jalopy. Show it again. The close up of it. I think it's pretty darn cool.
It is. I really love the colors.
I can't wait to rock one of these. I will be doing that for sure. And it's been something I've been wanting to do for a while. So. And if you love them, grab one because I love it, and we hope to make it a normal color scheme as well. So yeah, there you go, Johnny Jalopy red, white, and blue,
yay,
colorway. And again, if you want it signed, let me know. If you'd like the bill flipped, I will flip your bill for you.
Oh, pre-flipped.
And yeah, I'll send it out.
Nice.
So let me know.
Very exciting, guys. And that being said, we do have the black and white original
OGs are still
in stock,
in stock on the website as well. So
promoting those as well.
JohnnyJalopy.com. You can head on over there and grab a OG Johnny Jalopy hat. And while you're there, pick up some stickers and a t-shirt.
Yes, for sure. We still have the t-shirt.
Tons of artwork available.
Tons of stuff created by yours truly over here.
Yeah.
Within these programs that we're talking about.
Well, some were done where we've made prints out of stuff that was cardboard, some art that was done on cardboard, some that was done on paper, some digital stuff. There's a big variety. And then of course there's all the sketchy lives that we did in the past.
So many.
Where we had specific themes, movie themes, and different stuff. So you can go over there and grab a cool poster or a print, 17 by 11. Again, that's the thing we've tried to do with Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art, is make it affordable. And a good size for what you're paying for. So,
and we do not charge extra for larger size t-shirts.
Nope.
So
no, we do not.
Yay!
Even though everybody in there, everybody everywhere. I went to the Metallica show, and it was another $30 for a double extra large, and I was like, wow. I love you guys, but not that much. I don't charge like that.
Nope.
So.
Anyway, back to the line of questioning, because we only have about 20 minutes left.
Wow, already?
I know.
Wow, this interview's gone crazy. Hey, thanks for having me on, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being a guest. I just think it's neat because, like I said, we really don't discuss this stuff. So,
yeah, you never really asked me anything.
Somebody asked, do you keep physical originals of digital art? This is hilarious because our home is primarily paper. It really is. So I have little pieces of paper this big. I have a torn tissue. I have a half a napkin. I have cardboard. We've got regular paper. We've got giant pieces. Whatever he can get his hands on to draw on for the last 17 years we've been together.
Yeah.
I have not thrown out, neither has he, a single piece of anything that he's drawn something on. It could be this big. And if it was a tiny skull,
there has been some stuff I've thrown out.
Maybe you have. I haven't touched it. Now, we do go through it maybe once a year, and we're like, oh, that's where that was. Or, oh, remember this design. Or, oh, here's our original t-shirt art. We have a bunch of that available. And every now and again we will go through and we'll pull out some originals.
Well, we did I think we did an
Couple
auction
auctions.
to raise money for somebody, and we sold some original t-shirt design art.
Yeah.
Where they're the t-shirts that we sell, it was the artwork that created those t-shirts. And so there's some people out there that own those pieces,
Right.
and they're in their collection. I was cool the other day. A gentleman contacted me, a pinstriper out of Maine, and he was like, "Hey man, I'd love could you just sign anything and send it to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I was thinking, what could I sign that would be cool? That's because he wanted to put it up in his case of signatures and stuff. I'm like, what can I do? And then I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I have this old hat that I wore, and I know I wore it during the time we built Space Junkie. So I signed it and threw it in a thing, and I'm pretty sure it was one of the hats, because yeah, I've got so many old worn hats.
Yeah.
And I know most of those all were involved in building of a car on Full Custom Garage, most of them, because every time I would go, I'd put a new hat on, and then have a fresh hat, and then come home and then never take it off and wear it until it was destroyed, just from yeah.
I take it back. We have paper, we have hats, and we have shoes
and
t-shirts.
Yeah, we have a lot of shoes too. I have shoes that I
tons of shoes
that I wore on.
You've worn like once, and they're just
no. I've worn them more than that. I've worn every pair of shoes I have has been worn to death. I just take care of them. They don't look the color doesn't look bad. The interior parts are trashed.
Yeah, they're not good.
Anyway, what do people say?
We have Michael Overby. What's up, you guys?
Hey, Mike, there's another customer. Thank you, Michael Overby. Appreciate you.
Tom Crawford said thank you for the artwork.
We just finished. That was the HHR we were talking about.
Nice.
We just finished up Tom. So that was maybe he got to hear the struggles with trying to make sure it didn't look purple and it looked more gray.
Pink, yeah.
But that's so amazing. Even looking at other gray tones of his car, even in stock photos, all of them have this purple tone to them that you don't really catch when you see it out in specific lighting. But like all the perfect lighting to photograph a car is usually where it's dim and very soft light, and these purple tones just come out because of the sky and stuff. It was just so anyways, knowing that, I'm like, I know it looks purple, but I got to make sure it feels gray, right, so that he knows, okay, your car's gray, and I saw that it was gray. I wasn't trying to make your car purple. But challenging though.
Michael Overby said one-of-one creations are always cool to have. And maybe that's if you do another special, maybe that's how you approach it.
Yeah, I think it was actually Michael Overby that was the guy that asked for that. He's like, can you, the digital thing, can you at least sign it one of one? I was like, I never even thought about trying to do that as an option, but there is a way. I guess that's a great way to make sure that at least for the customer, it's signed, and then it is me saying,
this is it.
That's the only one that there is.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is a great question, and it answers itself with your style, but it says, how do you avoid your digital work looking too perfect? Because your style is sketchy.
Yeah, it's not hard to
so it's not 100% perfect, but I have gone in and watched you, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're zoomed in to 1,000, and you're just putting in little and I'm like, no one's even going to see those details, but you know that they're there.
Yeah, and then there's times where I purposely, like when I'm erasing different stuff, because the way I lay color down and stuff like that, there's times where I purposely leave errors in some of it, just to make sure that it's still, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
So, because there's been multiple times where you're like, hey, there's a spot here, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's driving me crazy. I'm like, I know.
I'm a perfectionist. So if I see something, like sometimes it'll be a line like over the border of what he's drawing, I'm like, this is outside the border. You might want to trim that back.
Well, no, there's times where I've purposely done that,
right?
Where I've made a border
and I just don't know.
And I hang the car out where it's hanging over the border, so it looks like it's coming out of the print, is what my thought is. And then when I know it's working is when you say to me, hey, this is like coming out. I'm like, perfect. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to say. So there's things I'm trying to do even on the print sides of it, even though they're not. I guess and that's. I wish there was a way to say that they are original, but you know what I mean? Because they are. It's not like it's not just one of one.
If somebody watches you on a Sketchy Live. If anybody's contemplating having you do digital art, I would recommend that they go watch one of our Sketchy Lives and watch the process and how you're doing it. Because if you didn't know that you were drawing on a drawing tablet, you would think that you were drawing on paper.
Yeah, the way I attack it
Yes.
is, because
Yes.
that's the beauty of that program,
Yes.
is that you're drawing, and that was a huge change, and that took me a long time
It did.
because
Almost 6 months or so.
I was so accustomed to drawing digital on a Wacom pad, where you're basically separated from the screen in pencil. So it was, my hand would be down here by my, chest,
But you were looking
up at a screen
Mhm.
and drawing and making connection between the two. And I got so used to doing it that way that when I did finally get a tablet, like the Surface Book that I use, and where I was drawing directly onto the screen, it took almost it was like a year to really get to where it felt natural
Mhm.
drawing on glass, basically. Because the reaction in which the digital pencil or pen slides over glass doesn't always feel natural like it does on paper. So there's the differences there too.
And you got that in 2015, but you were set up and doing digital art in 2009. So for 6 years, you were using that Wacom pad.
Yeah.
So it was a big change.
Most of all the except for 2 cars, like the full custom stuff was done old school. And really, even when I was doing that digital stuff during that time, I was getting so much crap from, the legit artists, saying digital is bullshit,
Well,
ink and pen's where you got to do. And
I'm glad you didn't let it discourage you.
I just kept sticking to what I knew, and I was trying to develop a style and a look. And I think we still have accomplished that. And the beauty is I didn't just say I'm only going to be a digital artist. I've gone into as many different types of mediums as I can, because I want to be able to master all of them, so that I can be a much more versatile artist.
Yeah. Tom Crawford wants to say it's gray.
It is gray.
And we've got Gavin Little joining us from Washington State. Welcome, Gavin.
I appreciate you, Tom. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Which method do you find more creatively freeing, digital or the original renderings?
Creatively freeing?
Mm-hmm. Where you have a little bit more freedom to do what you want.
See, I've used both in ways to create stuff that was different or whatever. So
do you feel you can get more detailed maybe with the digital stuff than you could with the original, or with the pen and paper, maybe because of the colors and the blending? And
for myself, yes, because I'm not, like, when I'm doing ink and pen stuff, again, because of the style in which I and again, the drawing techniques of those two things for myself are not the same. I'm using 2 totally different styles, generally. Even though some stuff I've now figured out how to do, like the highlights, for instance. There was a long period of time I couldn't figure out how to do highlights and make things look chrome and bright, like I do with my digital stuff. And then I found an artist and I loved the way his stuff looked, and he was using a gel pen. And even though there was, guys like Chip Foose and different automotive designers that would use gouache as a way to create highlights with white. And I tried that once and I screwed everything up. It was too, I couldn't do it. I think with some practice, I could probably figure it out. But I was like, I needed quick, because I was already in the midst, right? And so George Weber, a phenomenal artist, who unfortunately has passed away, was one of my favorite artists. And George used a lot of white gel pen in his art that he did on cardboard. And so when George was like, "Hey man," he stopped kind of doing cardboard stuff and went on to do some other things. I was like, "Hey, would you be okay? I won't call it what you called it, but would it be okay if I start?" And he's like, "I don't know in cardboard. Yeah, go ahead." But it was so much of what he did, and other people were ripping him off and stuff, and I didn't want to be that guy, so I made sure I'd asked. So I started doing it, and then I asked him. I said, "What do you?" And he He was upfront. Here's what I use. I was like, okay, sweet. I'm gonna go get. Then I went and bought a white gel
And
pen.
you've been hooked ever since.
And now I've learned also, like for instance, some of the June specials. I've actually now started using some acrylic whites and different things to create like flames and different stuff. So
Nice.
Thomas Estrada was a great helper. He showed me some different inks and different paints that I haven't got an opportunity to try yet, but he was really cool and showed me some different painting styles of doing some things, and I'm really looking forward to trying to do some of that as well. But it was cool. So there's lots of artists that have been so cool to me over the years that have been very helpful, and I vowed to do the same. So anybody out there who has questions about different things, I'm always available to help any way I can. I'm not trying to,
No, you've always been super transparent with people.
we filmed 7 years of me trying and basically showing you how I do what I do. So
right. Rob Earl said, who do you remember encouraging you as a youngster and getting into your artwork?
For sure, my dad and my mom both were very vocal as far as art was concerned.
Your 8th grade
My
teacher.
8th grade teacher, Mr. Beenger, was very encouraging. But he was a guy that do it, while everybody else was doing all kinds of crazy art, he was doing automotive stuff.
What do you think was first? Was it your love of cars or was it your love of art?
Both.
Same time?
I think so, because I was really I know from a young age I wanted to have an apparel business. I wanted to be a t-shirt guy.
Success.
I know that was one of the things, and I loved when I would look at different art on t-shirts. It was always the cartoony stuff that I liked, and then of course, loving Warner Brothers and all that kind of stuff, and Walt Disney and everybody's the same things. And then as you got into the lowbrow stuff, and you would see the different artists, that were doing stuff, Cartoons Magazine and different things like that. I was like, oh God, that's all I want to do. And then, you grow up and you play sports and other things take more of the front seat than art did. But yeah, there was just a time frame where I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And especially it was when my dad passed away. That was the big jump.
Yeah.
He was the big force of he spent so much time showing me stuff, and it was such a passion of his that he didn't have enough confidence to get off the ground. And I was like, I don't know a lot, but I know enough that I'm just gonna go for it. And maybe I can make his dream happen.
And you are.
Yeah.
He'd be super proud of you.
Yeah, especially doing it full time. It's crazy.
Yeah, the full time thing.
Yeah.
How do you organize your files in art when you go digital?
So that's been a challenge, especially with as we're doing so many customer stuff. As I've got a whiteboard with everybody's names on it, specifically names, year, make, and model of the vehicle. And then I go in and I grab, because they'll send me photos. I ask them, please send me as many photos of your vehicle as possible, whether I'm going to utilize them or not, front, backs, all that stuff, because I want to make sure there's nothing I didn't miss. I learned that from the early days. That people go,
I had a bumper sticker on here.
Well, that's happened, and hey, my name was stitched on the interior, and I'm like, from this view, you can't even see I know it's there. Can you put it there? I'm like, anyway, but so I utilize all that, and I make a file of a person, and then all their vehicle photos, any reference stuff I need, because I won't just pull their car, then I'll go pull the original car, and as many photos, different angles as I can get, just to make sure I'm not missing anything of the.
So you're probably doing an hour at least of research.
Yeah, probably at least anywhere, no more than an hour of organizing it and getting stuff in there.
I feel like you're more organized with the digital stuff than you are with the other stuff.
It's easier to work. So, like for instance, doing these side view shots for June, I'm now having to take those files, print them out, so I can have them at my desk as reference photos, and they're all black and white, so they're not color. So then what I'll have to do is, because I'm not worried about what the color. I'm going for shapes and what details of the vehicle. And like I was working on this rat rod one recently, and I had an idea what it would look like on the side view, even though every photo that the gentleman sent me was 3/4 view. It was a 3/4 view. It was a top view of the engine. It was a side view of the rear end. It was a back of the taillights. Every shot, but a perfect side profile of it. You know what I mean?
Everything but what you needed.
Because I was like, every shot I couldn't figure out how does the frame of this car, because the motor was sitting up so high, how is that frame because in the drawing, how is it sitting up to where the engine would sit where it's at? And I'm like, I can't figure it out. And then of course, then I got to become a master spy and go into, these are some of these people that have contact where I'm not specifically friends with them on Facebook or Instagram. So I'll go on their profile and pray that they've got some photos of their cars, because
that are public.
Exactly. When you're not friends with somebody, you're limited in what you can see. Because I don't want to bug people like, hey, can you send me a blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean? I'm trying to do the best I can with the photos that they've sent me. So, and I'm it took, I was probably looking at this guy's car, and I never found a photo of it. It was one that was kind of blurry. So I took it into Photoshop. I like made the brightness as bright as I could get it to kind of show as much of detail, to take all the shadows and stuff away. And I finally kind of caught a glimpse of what it sort of looked like. I'm like, well, this is the best I can do. So I drew it that way, and
he liked it.
Well, then I did the trickery of adding shadow over the top of it and really hiding it anyways.
Oh.
So there was stuff that I knew I'd put there, but maybe he wouldn't be able to see, and you really from looking at it, you wouldn't be able to really tell. Just like the photos. How does it look? I have no idea. But I was worried if I didn't at least get it close enough that the guy might go, hey, dude, the frame didn't go like that. That's not how the suspension is. You know what I mean? And so that's a challenge.
Right.
Is not having access to everything you need access to.
Right.
Like I wish I could just go outside and go, oh, there's the car right there. Let me take my own photograph of it. You know what I mean? Here's the things I'm gonna need.
Right. And that's what you normally do, like when we go to car shows and stuff.
I do. Because it reference stuff. It's always thinking ahead. I'm always looking at, oh, look at the way the light's hitting this. This is a good way to learn how to draw that reflection, say. Or if someone's like, it's at twilight and someone's got like a metal flake car, the light dances on that stuff a lot different than when it's out in the sun. So, just trying to put in memory of, okay, how's that look? So
you do remember quite a bit, because if I said draw a Ford Pinto, like I feel like you'd be able to do it.
I know what it looks like.
Yeah. Or
it would, obviously, it wouldn't be perfect, but the shape would be pretty close to.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. Like you're the type of guy when headlights are coming out, you're like, oh, that's a Mercury Marquis. Like I have no idea. No idea. And you just know.
Well, it comes from every time I look at a car, I'm not just looking at the car to look at the car.
Right.
To go, oh, that's a car. I'm going, okay, that's this car. Even new stuff. I'm like,
I didn't even know what a body line was until I met
even
you.
New stuff. I'm like, I'm paying attention to all like for instance, like the new Cadillac stuff. That's all electric. I drove by the new Cadillac dealership and I'm like, oh, those are all that lot's full of electric cars. And your dad goes, how do you know they're all electric? I'm like, because the way the grill is different than the gas one. And they are, and I've only seen that car twice, but I know what the electric one looks like versus the gas powered. It's a totally different front fascia on the new Cadillac stuff.
Michael Overby said muscle memory for the brain.
Yeah.
We've got Matt Williams joining us.
But times, it's great. I can visualize it in my head, but then there's times where the pressure's on and you're like, you got to do someone's car.
Right.
And I'm like 67 Firebird.
What does that look like again?
I can't remember what that. I know.
Yeah, but then there's people with a 67 Firebird that have it changed in some way, and then you need to know what those changes are so you can do it.
Right.
It's not always about, like you did one. I couldn't believe how detailed you got with this. I think it was that same bug that had stickers in the window, and you like literally zoomed in and recreated every sticker.
I did, but I didn't.
Oh.
So I'm glad. No, I'm glad. So that's so what I did is I made shapes of what the original stickers look like, but I knew there was no way I was going to be able to draw a detailed. One of the biggest stickers that was on this guy's window was a United States Marine Corps sticker. So there was no way I was going to be able to write United States Marine Corps, some of the Latin that was in it, and then Semper the Marine Corps logo, stars around it, and to be able to get that much. So I tried to draw color shapes and then things that look like letters.
It looked like
And when if you looked on the other side, I drew the back of stickers.
Yes.
So there's no writing. It's just shapes of what the sticker, but
So
it was
crazy.
the back of stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great. It was so good. I don't know. I feel like you've been having so much fun with this. I come home from my day job to a happy husband and just music blasting, and he's in there working, and you're just having a great time.
Super focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been able to get other stuff done. I feel like there's so much time for other things. You've been able to spend some time with the dog. You've been able to run your errands. You've been able to hang out with people, go to lunch. I mean,
this morning
I so much freedom.
I've been starting off every morning about an hour to hour and 20 minutes in the Word of God. And then I get up, and like this morning I was like, okay, the lawnmower's been broken, so I need to fix that lawnmower.
And we're in rainy season over here in Florida.
I need my lawnmower back. So I was like, okay, I got to get up, because I tried to fix it a couple months ago and I couldn't break loose the bolt. So I'm like, there's no options today. I've got to break loose and I got to get this thing fixed. So I backed the Model A out and I brought the lawnmower in, put it up on a table, got all my stuff, and went to work on it and got it. And then the good news, I was like, oh, I have to go on a parts run.
Let me take Rose.
So let me jump in Rose. And so, I need to go get gas. I'm low on gas for Rose. So I drove to the gas station, and then I got in, then I drove to the Ace Hardware, and then went in and bought a new lawnmower blade, came back out, put it back on.
It was business,
great.
Baby.
It was a cool hour and a half of just I got to spend some time in the old car, and so I got a little break from work, but I was working, and then mowed the backyard, mowed the front yard as fast as I could get it done, because I knew it was going to start raining soon. And then that still left me time to get on Mr. Crawford's HHR and start finishing that guy up and get him done and get him all set, because they've all been so patient. Everybody's been so patient about their stuff.
It's been great. We are overwhelmed with gratitude for the support that you guys have shown.
Yeah, thank you so much for
what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, it's been so much fun.
I feel like this is a moment that we have talked about for years.
Yeah.
And it's finally here, and you're finally doing it, and it's everything we thought it would be.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Once I got over the initial guilty feeling of
the shock of not going to a day job. I know.
And then was able to embrace that it's okay that you're home, and it's okay, that I have a stopping point. I've allowed myself stopping points too. And I've allowed also, it's given time for things that also outside of where I'd be so beat from being at work. I'm like, I don't want to fix a lawnmower, to where now I'm like, okay, I'm going to make time, get things done that I need to get done around the house too. And then I still have time to come inside into the AC and draw cars.
The best part is
so much fun.
You've had your evenings free.
Yeah.
So we can plan some other activities. We can do some other things. You've had your weekends free.
Oh man, it was so great when our plane got delayed in New Jersey this last weekend. And I remember sitting in the airport watching everybody else go, oh, this is bullshit. I'm so pissed off. And I know you were like, oh, I got my job. And I'm over here going, oh, if we go, we go. If we don't, we don't. You know what I mean? I was like, it felt so good to not just be like, oh my God, then I'm gonna have to go back, and then I got to make up another day because I didn't do it, and they're gonna be pissed at me, and it's not my fault, and blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, well,
very freeing. I
was like, I guess we'll be late, and I'll just get up and get working on
what you can do.
So Mr. So-and-so's vehicle. As soon as I got it, we were up and ready, and I got into the Word for the morning, and I'm raring to go. Let's draw some cars.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun.
It's been really great. And I feel like the time that you're putting in is helping you, and it's facilitating other things that we want.
Yes, we've got, I've speaking of other things, we are a compressor
we are
away.
So close. Can we share why?
Share why what?
My dad.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So my father, when we were up in New Jersey,
I didn't understand what you meant, but now I do. Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
gifted us some finances so we could get the compressor and everything that's needed for the airbrushing. So I'm
Yep.
so thankful. My dad has been so supportive.
Super supportive.
Yeah. And I know initially you were thinking, oh man, he's going to think I'm a loser. I'm not taking care of his daughter
Yeah, I
and blah,
don't
blah,
have a
blah.
job and stuff.
But he's been great. And what a blessing to have family support as well. I mean, everybody,
Yeah, it's been great.
everybody, when we went up there, my brothers, my sister,
Mhm.
just the entire family was like, tell us what happened. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy for you and so thankful. And actually my brother Steve, his boss had reached out. He's a big car guy, and
Yeah.
Johnny's done some stuff for him before. And he had some work done too.
Yeah.
And so just support all the way around. We're super thankful, guys.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so many great people.
So we're gonna be airbrush ready here in no time. We
Yeah.
just got to get some stuff ordered. But I would say probably by August 1st we'll be up and running. And
I would
have some products
yeah,
out.
I'm
maybe.
hoping to get also the finish. We have this. I've got supplies. I've got my paint. I've got materials to airbrush on. I just got to find where I put my airbrushes, and then if not, I know where we're gonna get more. Anyways, and I've got a plan for that. The biggest component was I have an old compressor that I used to use for airbrush, but it's just so beat up
and old.
I just don't trust it.
And big
and it's
and
so
loud.
loud. And this new one I'm looking at is very, very quiet, so I'll be able to do it without disruption. Even though I'll be home by myself doing it, but where it won't be a nuisance type of thing.
Maybe not. We may do a sketchy live.
Well, and the size of it is it's half the size of the one that I have out there. So it's going to be awesome, and can't wait to start doing. I can't wait to start doing some fun
airbrush
cookie t-shirts and stuff. Trying to
try
to get to my Ed Rothy. Von Franco is a huge artist guy that I follow, and I've always loved his airbrush stuff that he does. And I've picked his brain a few times about some stuff, and he's been very generous and answered some questions for me. But I've been just jonesing to get back. And since my drawing skills have improved since when I quit airbrushing versus now,
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
My skills of drawing skills are much better than they were then. So I can't wait to start throwing down and see what happened.
And guys, we've talked.
That's where it started.
Talked about stuff like this, and I just feel like now is the time. Yeah. Everything is just rolling and going, and we're not going to stop. We're going to grow.
Well, I also ordered some Alpha paint, Alpha 6 paint, some enamels,
some striping
to start working on doing some pinstriping stuff, and also I bought myself a big toolbox, not a big toolbox, but where I'm gonna start painting on stuff too. You know what I mean? So there's gonna be some other stuff coming out,
other products available
soon. The specials that we've been running have been taking up a lot of the time. It's been great though. It's been really nothing like jumping in. So
and there's like Johnny said, there's still time for June. So tell them about the special you're doing.
So
now.
It's a week long. So we have 1 week left. June special. So it's $100. You get your vehicle, a side view of your vehicle. And again, if you specify that you want it to be, in motion, or you want a monster coming out of it, or you want it sitting low on the ground or whatever, that helps me because then I'm not guessing, because I've been doing most of them with motion. And
this is pen and paper. This is not digital.
Ink and pen on a 9x12 Tantone paper, and it's an original piece that you'll have signed, and it's yours, and it's a side shot of your vehicle. So
$100.
Take a look at my web. Take a look at my my Facebook page and my Instagram. In between the things that are pissing people off, my biblical posts. But I've shared some of the art that I've done in that style for June.
Yeah.
So still got some time left to sign up and be on the schedule. Doesn't mean it'll be done by the end of June. Just means you're on the schedule.
And at that price point.
And at that, you're locking in artwork done of your vehicle for that price point, and it'll get done. So I've got some work ahead of me still to do, but I'm not saying no. So if you'd like to have your vehicle done, definitely hit me up. On all the social medias is where I've been communicating with everybody. Is on all of them.
Grab your hat again.
Oh yeah, and then again,
don't forget.
Yikes.
Oh, he dropped it. Wah, wah.
Make sure you keep it on me.
It's on us. I can't not have it on you. We lost the camera. I can't move it on me. All right. There we go. There we
Go
go.
ahead and head back to the. So there you go.
Yes.
The new colorway of
Red,
the
white,
Johnny
and blue.
Jalopy Hot Rod Art hat.
$25.
Red, white, and
guys.
blue. Exclusively to you folks here on Sketchy Live.
For the next week.
This next week.
July
Only
1st.
people are making it available to.
July 1st. It's going live on our Facebook page for sale.
Yep.
So
it'll be available. So think about that. I'm giving you first dibs. Those that watch Sketchy Live, and even if you didn't see it live, you can see it on the recording. As long as
if we still have them, yeah.
Put your go to johnnyjalopy.com, email us that you'd like to have one, and then we'll invoice you for one.
Yes,
because it's not on the website, and it won't be on the website till after this special release to the Sketchy Live viewers. But they're exclusively for this next week. Exclusively,
and
you
we
get first
only
dibs.
have 13 of them.
13.
Lucky 13.
So yeah, grab yours.
And more stuff to come, guys. It's going to be an exciting end of the year for Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art. So again, thank you, Johnny, for
thanks for having me.
Opening up.
Yeah, really appreciate you having me on Sketchy Live.
Sharing.
I gotta say, this is one of my favorite podcasts.
Love the interaction.
I love when you guys, you and your husband argue. That's the funnest. I really enjoy when you draw. So hopefully you'll get back to drawing soon.
Yes.
I know you had some equipment issues with that, but hopefully you'll get to draw live again soon. So that'll be fun. But the podcast thing has been really great. You guys talk about some great subjects.
We do.
And you guys are just so funny.
Thank you.
So, I would just, try to give your husband a little easier a time. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's 1 in a million.
Sure. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Happy Monday and have a great week ahead.
Yeah, have a great week. Sketchy Live. We're so excited that you were here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to hit the website, johnnyjalopy.com, where you can pick up hats, stickers, but exclusively to you folks out there, the
red, white,
red colorway is available to you. $25. Hit us up, johnnyjalopy.com. And shoot us an email saying, hey, shoot me one of those new colorways.
Cool caps. Cool caps. All right, guys.
All right.
Well, as always.
Hey, don't forget to stay sketchy.
Stay sketchy.
We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.